r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. What was a great thing ruined by popularity? Bothies. Basically they're small cottages in remote parts of the Scottish Highlands that are left unlocked. Free to be used for shelter by people traveling the mountains. They're not well furnished or anything, but they act as a freely usable weatherproof shelter for anyone to use in a country where summer usually just means the rain is slightly less frigid. It used to be that they weren't too well known. The hill walking community used them, maintained them, and everyone observed an unwritten code of conduct where you'd make sure to leave it tidy, clean and ready for the next person to use. However, they suddenly experienced an upsurge in awareness, and a lot of them suffered for it. People would go to them so they could have a piss up in a scenic location and leave them covered in rubbish and shit. Literal shit. They're normally refurbished from long abandoned houses and frequently don't have toilets, so they're equipped with a shovel to bury your waste. People seem to think they were free holiday homes that they could just take over. Some people just vandalized them for the fun of it. As a result, they suffered quite a bit. They should offer a shelter from bad weather and a safe place to sleep. But now you have a bunch of entitled, lazy assholes who go and wreck them. That's so sad. We have cabins like that up here in Alaska and the Yukon, but fortunately there are so few people that they are in good shape. eBay. I remember being able to get an absolute bargain for almost anything I wanted. Now, every shop puts their shit on eBay. The other problem with eBay is it completely messed up people's perceptions of what stuff is worth. Someone will see some shitty thing on eBay listed for like $500 and be like, oh, that's what it's worth. But it's been listed for $500 for 2 years and nobody bought it cause that's crazy. Then someone at a flea market or Craigslist is like, oh, it's on eBay for $500 so I'll give you a deal. $450. To some extent, amusement theme parks. They have to be popular to justify building new, state-of-the-art attractions, but eventually get so crowded that you need to buy special passes and get on a ride in less than 2 hours and can barely even find a place to sit when you want to rest for a minute. I live near Six Flags Great America, outside of Chicago. Anytime I've gone in the last 10 years it's been a ridiculous mass of humanity. More rides than ever. But every decent ride is like a 2-hour wait. As a resident of Orlando, this crowded issue is more than just in the parks. Universal has plans to make this Nintendo theme park or resort that is massive. And the neighborhood right across has justified issue with it concerning the amount of traffic that will come. This city is a tourist trap and our infrastructure is barely hanging on with the growth and visitors. I live in Egypt and many of the most popular places are ruined by all the people there all year round. Yay, having a KFC right across from the Sphinx is a total WTF. Any restaurant Anthony Bourdain featured in his shows. Even he acknowledged this. These fantastic gems would subsequently be overrun with diners that they suffered from overcrowding and lower standards. He did an episode of No Reservations once in Rome and didn't show any of the restaurants from the outside. If no one knows where the restaurants are, they won't be overcrowded with tourists and become inaccessible to the locals. Really respectable of him. Last year I did the Utah National and State Parks during the early spring off season and the measures they are taking to try to accommodate the massive number of visitors during the summer is incredible. Parking, lodging, sanitation, and safety are all becoming problems. And I hope that these places don't become victims of their own popularity. Arches really seems to attract people doing stupid, dangerous shit. The iconic delicate arch is like a magnet for morons who don't prepare for the trail, take risky selfies, vandalize and climb on things, and drink in places where there's 360 degrees of cliffs around you. Stupid and dangerous is a pretty low bar in many of those areas. We went to Arches on a family vacation back in 1989 or 90. Dad planned us a long hike. Something like 14 miles. Dad, Mom, my brother, 10, and I, 7. We had a lot of fun. Lots of cliffs. Several places where we, the kids, had to jump across crevices that were probably 20 feet deep. And sections along the ridge of large formations with a probably death level of fall on either side. I didn't find out until I was about 25 and we were talking about that trip that we were way out of our depth and that dad was legitimately worried that this was going to become a capital P problem somewhere along the way. My mom still gets mad at him about it from time to time because it was stupid and dangerous and put us at risk. His mistake? Underestimating the amount of water we should take for that hike. And not appreciating the difference between 10 miles in the Smoky Mountains and 10 miles in the Utah desert. Side note. It's a testament to my parents' ability to keep their shit together under stress that we kids never knew that anything was wrong. They kept moving forward because anything else wasn't going to be helpful. And getting us scared would have been extremely counterproductive. Now it's a family lesson in both not making stupid decisions and in dealing with problems constructively. Have you ever noticed there's a threshold where a song gets too popular and will live on with the memory of everyone thinking it was overplayed and annoying? Despacito. The summer it was popular. I remember turning on the radio and switching through stations. And it was always on at least one. Okay, I'm going to mix it up. Silphium. The plant used as a form of, likely very effective, birth control in the ancient Mediterranean. For this reason, and because it was apparently delicious, it gained popularity as a spice, aphrodisiac, and general cure-all and became worth its weight in gold. Julius Caesar stockpiled the stuff. And it is one of the most plausible origins of the heart symbol, and the association of that symbol with romance and doing the sex to people. Unfortunately, it only grew wild in and around Cyrene. And over-harvesting by the Romans after their takeover of the city drove Silphium into extinction by the time of Nero. And that's why we had to wait 2000 years for the pill. Huh. That's interesting. Most of the historic monuments. The amount of markings all over them makes me sick. There is graffiti left by Roman soldiers and Napoleonic soldiers in Egypt. Which was pretty neat to see tbh. Beaches. Once tourism starts, it usually has devastating effects on the flora and fauna. They had to close a beach off from the public in Thailand to give nature time to recover. Edit for grammar. Edit to give more information. I was talking about Maya Bay, which was made famous by the movie The Beach. Yes. The one with Leo. Despite its isolation, the bay attracts so many tourists there isn't even any room to lay down on the sand. The bay is closed off until officials believe the coral has rejuvenated sufficiently. They had a similar problem with the poppy reservation a year or so ago. There was a super bloom that resulted in fields of beautiful orange flowers. People kept visiting and taking pictures in the poppies. The problem was that these flowers were rather delicate. If you stepped on a patch too many times, there was a good chance the plants in that patch would die. They had designated paths all along reservation and signs telling people to stay on the path, but they kept ignoring them. There were a ton of dead patches in the poppy fields. There were also a ton of Instagram photos of people laying in patches of poppies. Mount Everest. Especially since there's only 1 or 2 days a season that people climb, when conditions are optimal. There are literally queues of people waiting to go up some sections, and the overcrowding contributes to the number of deaths there each year. That's before you even start to think about the rubbish trash left up there. The tourism to empty Everest has become the primary income for a lot of people in that area, so it's not surprising the guides and Sherpas continue to take people up in large numbers, but it does seem sometimes like the numbers are unsustainable and downright dangerous. I've never been there and never will go, but it fascinates me, so I read about it all the time. So much litter at or near the summit and all along the way up. The Sherpas do try to clean what they can, but up in the death zone, every ounce of what you are carrying matters tremendously, so very little can be done to get rid of all the oxygen canisters and things left laying around. Basically any hit song gets overplayed, so you end up hating it cause you can't escape it. Also probably a fair bit of TV shows. Rick and Morty is still good, but the popularity led to creating a cringy ass fan base which can turn a lot of people off. Basically any hit song gets overplayed, so you end up hating it cause you can't escape it. The worst is when it gets so popular it ends up being used in a DreamWorks movie. Haven't seen it happen yet, but waiting for the day that bad guy is used in a Despicable Me style preview montage of a super bad supervillain that we're totally going to come to love because they have a heart of gold. Visiting Iceland. I absolutely fell in love with the country when I was there. But the popularity of it means, like any other trendy tourist destination, that it's now ruined by tourists being jackasses. I grew up near a national park that is also now ruined by overcrowding. So maybe I have a lower threshold for that sort of stuff than most. But watching idiots stomping all over fragile geothermal features 2 steps away from the no walking on this area sign just boils my blood. The idea of renting free room or sofa isn't bad at all. It turned into hard bus scenes when companies owning dozens of apartments rent them to tourists. Meanwhile there is an apartment price and rent crisis. I guess living here isn't going to be affordable for middle class anymore. It's difficult as an Airbnb host with a room in the house available. We get a lot of middle-aged couples turning up expecting the whole place. And also expecting the house to be something else. They just don't read the info. It's really frustrating because we're upfront about what to expect. And have a really lovely room set up. But many people's experience of Airbnb is staying in commercial flats which is full-time maid service. So they come here expecting to get that. Despite being £30 a night. Yik Yak. I loved Yik Yak in college. It was hilarious and had juicy anonymous gossip on it, and it was a great place to just put down random thoughts. Then it started growing and people started using it for making blatantly racist comments anonymously. That led to more shit that a-holes would put on there, like putting people's full names in their stories and making bomb threats. A great example of a few people ruining it for everyone else. Duck Yik Yak was the best. No other app managed to catch on as heavily at my college either after it shut down. R.I.P. Lindsay Lohan. Seriously. Cute and talented actress received way too much popularity with no guidance. Yay. She peaked super fast and then minutes later every time you heard her name it was after something bad had happened. Drones. They're an amazing and useful tool for surveyors, photographers, inspectors, filmmakers, etc. But they're so ubiquitous. Johnny Dumbers can go buy one at Best Buy and crash it into a bald eagle nest and make the rest of us who've gone through training and FAA licensing look bad. Plastic. It is a great material but mankind does not know how to use it properly. We have this super strong, super lightweight, corrosive resistant material that can be made into any shape at a very low cost. It lasts forever. And we use it for disposable packaging. The Joker Stairs in the Bronx was a nice little piece of architecture in a quiet area of Highbridge. Now Instagram dipshits are ruining it. There's more trash there than ever before. I feel bad for the local residents who have to put up with it. The Exorcist steps near Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. used to be the same. But it subsided eventually. You still get people taking a lot of pictures and such. Especially around Halloween. But at one time it was a major tourist attraction in a town full of major tourist attractions. Remember back when your father knew a faster, alternative route around a major traffic jam that actually was faster? Since the handheld availability of real-time traffic data and route optimization by Google Maps, an equilibrium of travel time has established such that everyone knows what's the best route is and the traffic jam actually takes as long as the alternative route. I think that the real thing that is ruined in this scenario is your commute. There are too many people on the damn roads, all going to the same general location. GPS or no GPS at certain times of the day, week, season, it is impossible to go anywhere without sitting in traffic. Groove Shark. Effectively free Spotify Premium with every single song that you could think of on it. It was ducking awesome. I imagine its popularity drew too much attention to its multiple blatant copyright violations. It was fun while it lasted, though. For 90s kids. Same story but with Napster. YouTube. Not really by the people on it but because of all the things around ads and such which comes with its popularity. Any and every fandom. Those T-Rex costumes. Same with the horse head. Self-checkout. They were great when everyone was too intimidated to use them. I could buy 50 items and be out of the store before the granny that was ahead of me who went to the cashier even started ringing her shit up. Now stores have forced them on people by only having one actual cashier, so everyone uses them. Even people who have no business doing so. The original Facebook required an active college email and was a cool chill place. Now it's just a breeding ground for political horseshit and Karen's anti-vax moms. I deleted mine a little over a year ago because I was fed up with the content, misinformation and drama that occurred on that site. Plus how invasive their practices are. I recently tried to make another account with the intention to keep it solely private, other than very close friends and family, with the intention to use it to only promote my music on a page. Within 10 minutes my account was suspended and subsequently disabled, as they believed I was impersonating somebody else, even though I used my real name, etc. Apparently I need to send a copy of identification for them to reactivate my account. Think I'll pass on that one. Ducking like and subscribe.